Hey everybody, welcome back to Alphonso Speaks, and welcome back to more of the Deposition of Apostle David E. Taylor. Glad to have you guys back on the channel and glad to be uploading once again. If you guys haven't already, check out the first 2 episodes that I've uploaded in this series. This is one of my favorite depositions ever. I saw it a few years ago and I wanted to bring it to the channel and rewatch it because I haven't rewatched it in a long time. But it's very interesting. So for those of you who haven't seen the first couple episodes, you're just catching up. This is a mega church pastor over JMMI out of Taylor, Michigan and St. Louis, Missouri. Kind of goes back and forth between those two cities. And he was being questioned because I believe it was like, I don't know if it was his divorce proceeding, but it was something stemming from some type of divorce proceeding, and somehow his name became involved in that. And the attorney is just asking him all these different questions about the way that the ministry is spending the money. And as you know, ministries get their money from tithes and offering from their congregation. So the way they spend it can either be ethical or unethical, moral or immoral. And in his case, a lot of his spending has been immoral. And not only has his spending been immoral, but his falsifying of documents, of legal financial documents, has been completely immoral. For example, claiming a salary of only $27,000 while also driving a Range Rover. How does that happen? And he it's not paid off. He claimed he pays the car note. So how is that possible? How's that possible? I make, with my job, 6 figures, and somehow, some way, paying for a Range Rover is still pretty much impossible for me. So how do you pay for it? How do you pay for it on a $27,000 salary? Makes no sense, right? But this is day 2 of the deposition. We get into more of the questioning. It gets very interesting. Again, this is just one of my favorite depositions ever because, like, if you don't know his backstory, then the way he tries to present himself, he could probably fool you with it. And the way the attorney presents herself doesn't really help. She's like super aggressive at times that she doesn't need to be. And that kind of like, that doesn't do you a great service. Now, again, she's asking him very legitimate questions the entire time, but the way that she asks them sometimes can be a little bit off-putting. And I think it's important to note that when you're doing a deposition like this, especially one of somebody who's, over a large amount of people, and he's just this huge name in the evangelical community. By the way, never got his degree in any of that. Never went to college for any type of evangelism or anything of the sort. Just kind of gave himself the title. When you're dealing with somebody like this, you don't want to create a scenario in which anybody can accuse you of, I don't know, not being fair to him or something. You want to make sure that you guys understand what I'm saying? Like, make sure that you're presenting the questions and behaving in a way where he has no chance to come across as the victim. And I believe a lot of times in this deposition, he comes across as a victim, which is unfortunate because he's not. He's not a victim at all. If you look at the things that he's been accused of, it's horrendous stuff. But he comes across in this deposition kind of looking like a victim because of the way that he talks. He's acting all soft-spoken the entire time. You'll see what I mean. It's not far from the way he presents himself on television, but he's coming across all soft-spoken, and the lady is just like, her tone is just, you guys will understand what I'm saying when you see it. But before we get started watching this together, make sure you guys like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more great content. We have a lot of great stuff coming, including when the Sarah Boone trial starts. Can't wait to jump on that one. There's actually a couple of things I need to react to out of that, so we'll make time and space to be able to do that. But for now, I want to finish this this deposition. Got a few more videos here to watch, so we're going to start with day 2, part 1.
Yeah, I'm just dying. Okay, but I'm dying. Mr. Taylor, you're still under oath?
Yes.
You understand?
Would you hold 10 seconds so I can sign this and have maybe... I can wait.
Go ahead, I don't care.
I'll just...
That's another thing. His lawyer and the opposing attorney, they just go at it like children. And it's super annoying. That's another thing that's like super off-putting. It's just, it's really annoying. It makes it hard to focus on what this guy's actual, what is the word? His transgressions. What his transgressions are. It makes it hard to focus on those when these two are acting the way that they're acting. It's super annoying.
Sign here, we'll do that.
Mind you, the first deposition is in, I think, if I remember correctly, it was like November 2014. So this is, you know, like 4 months later. And somehow he managed to come back wearing the exact same thing that he was wearing in the first one. That takes some dedication.
I didn't interrupt you, sorry.
No, it's okay.
Get that done.
Okay. Ready? Everybody ready?
Yep.
Okay. Mr. Taylor, who is Ashley Ware?
She's a volunteer staff that works in the ministry on the staff.
She's a volunteer staff. She work full-time or part-time?
Yeah, she works full-time.
And who is Christian Ware?
That's their child, their
And
baby.
How old is that child?
I'm not sure. Don't know.
Infant or teenager, in between?
No, I know it's definitely not a teenager. Young, very young. So
And who is Clifton Ware?
that's her husband.
Are you related to them?
No,
No biological relation.
no.
Did they live with you in 2013?
No, not in 13, no.
When did they live with you at any time?
Yes, they did when they first came, and that was more in 2008, 9, somewhere around there.
What do you mean when they
When they first came.
first came from where?
From Cleveland, Ohio. I kind of helped them out and their children.
Children or one?
Well, they had more than one, so
And so they lived with you
yeah,
in your apartment,
yes.
the 2-bedroom apartment?
Mm-hmm.
You have to answer yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Along with your 2 children?
Well, you know, my 2 children went there every day, so
So
according to court order. So I have my children half the week.
So where would these folks stay every day?
Well, they had. I also had other friends in the city that I allowed them to go stay with, and they opened their home.
You allowed them to
Well, they
stay?
opened their home to them.
What do you mean you allowed them to go?
Just misworded it.
Okay. And your 2012 tax return, who's Brooklyn Mitchell?
Brooklyn? I don't know.
You don't know who Brooklyn Mitchell is?
No.
You have no idea?
No.
Never heard of that
Mitchell.
person?
No. Brooklyn Mitchell. Nope.
On your 2012 tax return, you claim Brooklyn Mitchell as a dependent or an exemption.
No, I don't think that's true or accurate.
Well, this is what you gave us today.
Yeah. Or if it's, I don't know if it's, there must be someone, I don't know who that is. Michelle probably can answer that. I'm not sure about this because I don't do my own taxes. So.
You're going to hear him mention Michelle a lot. Michelle is the head of his financial board, as he calls it. basically the one who does all of his financial stuff. I wish she had a deposition. I don't know if she does. I've never seen one for her. It'd be really nice to hear from her because he mentions her so many times. He's always like, that's a question for Michelle. This is a question for Michelle. Anytime it has something to do with like some finances that are inaccurate, it's always, oh, that's a question for Michelle. That's a question for Michelle.
But I did carry them because I supported them that year. So, I mean, I know I supported Clifton and his wife and their children. I helped them.
But you have no idea who Brooklyn Mitchell is?
No, I don't know that name, and I don't know why that's there. So it could be something that I'm not aware of.
You wouldn't be aware that they were one of your exemptions and dependencies?
Well, I don't know. I didn't handle that, so I would rather you ask her about that, Michelle.
Ask her about your personal tax return?
Yes,
And
because I don't fill them out.
you said that Christian, Ashley, and Clifton did not live with you in 2012.
No, not in 12, I don't think. I'm not sure. I can't, maybe my days are mixed up, so I'm not accurate.
Well, you said it was
about
back in
everything.
08 and 09, not 12.
I know it's 08, 09. I can remember those times. Yeah,
But you, under oath, claimed all these people as your exemptions.
of course.
Brooklyn, of
Well,
course?
Well, no, I mean, whatever happened in this was under oath and it was the truth. So, like I say, you need to go ask Michelle about
Well, no,
this.
I mean, it's your life.
But it may be
hold
my
on.
life, but I have somebody taking care of this
You'll-
part.
Okay, so these folks, none of those four folks lived with you in 2012
It's not true.
and in 2013.
I don't remember. I don't know what I'm looking at, so I can't
What's your-
answer
okay,
this.
let's-
I can't
let's-
answer.
It's the 1040 U.S. individual income tax return 2012,
I know
is
what
it not?
that. Yes, I know what
Okay,
that
and
is.
this was given to me by your attorney today.
Okay.
And on it, it has these four dependency exemptions, does it not?
Yes.
Brooklyn, Christian, Ashley, and Clifton?
Yes.
Okay, and you're telling me you have no idea who Brooklyn Mitchell is?
No, it may be a name in there. I don't know if I know their nickname or whatever, but I'm just telling you I don't know, so I'm not going to answer anymore.
All
than
right,
that.
so who is it that you support? What is it you do to support these people then?
Well, I mean, they didn't have a job and they didn't have nowhere to stay, so I provided food and clothing, shelter for them.
I don't know whose phone that is.
That's mine.
So you provided to these four people food, clothing, and shelter? You have to answer yes or no.
Yes.
On your salary?
Yes.
And your salary is listed as $28,897.
Yes.
And on that salary, you're saying you supported these four people?
Yes.
See? How? How is that possible? Now, I know look, it's 2015 here. They're talking all the way back 2012, okay? I know the gas was like under $2 back then. But still ain't no way this man was supporting all them people with a salary of $28,000. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. There's just no way.
These four people?
Yeah.
Actually, to give you guys some clarity, I was in the military. When I first came in the military, making A1C salary, making like less than $30,000 a year. It was hard to just provide for myself. Ain't no way I was going to be able, and my housing was free. I was living in the dorms. So there's no way this man was clothing, sheltering, and paying everything for all of these people with a salary of $28,000. Something don't smell right.
Yes.
Including Brooklyn, who you don't know.
Yes. I don't, like I said, I can't answer certain things at this time because someone takes care of my 1040. But, I have money saved up, so I can spend that money on helping other people if I want. So.
How is the money saved up after you're earning $28,000? Where do you get money
Well,
to save up?
I save money from my paycheck some, so.
Is that because the ministry covers most of your overhead?
Yeah,
your allowances?
That's the blessing of nonprofit ministry.
Is what?
They allow for different allowances that even though my salary may be low, I still can have a little bit extra to help a family like that. So,
But your allowances, like your car allowance and your housing allowance, those are taxable to you, aren't they?
If he knows, he's not an
I don't
expert.
know. Yeah, I don't know all those things.
Do you report those on your taxes?
I don't know if I'm supposed. I don't know.
You have no
about it.
idea. But you
I
sign.
have other people handle this for me.
But you sign your tax returns, don't you?
I have to, don't I? I think, yeah.
Okay. And so you sign them, and you're not sure of what they mean.
Well, not so much that I have professional people who know what they're doing, so
Who would the professional people be?
I don't know. You can ask Michelle.
She knows who prepares your taxes?
Yes.
Do you keep receipts for all the expenditures that you say you have for these folks? These four?
I'm not sure. Not positive.
When you give them support, do you give them cash?
I have helped them with cash before, but nothing large, you know.
Do you pay their rent?
Pay their rent. I mean, they were living with me, so I was
Not in
paying.
2012, you said, or 13. You said
Okay,
08 and
no,
09.
I don't pay their rent.
So
no.
you don't pay their rent? Do you give them a check for some funds?
No.
No check. No check, cash but not large amounts. You don't pay their rent. Do you buy them food?
Yes. Mhm.
When do you buy
Or-
food? How does that work? Do you give them money or do you go out and go do the grocery shopping?
No, I just give them money.
Cash?
My card, a bank
Credit card?
banking debit card, or you know. But when are you saying do I do this? Because I don't do this now. So.
Well, this is 2012
Okay,
and
you're talking about, so you asking
2013.
during those years. Yeah,
Right,
so
where
that's
you
probably,
claimed them.
yeah, well, that's probably the way I did it when I did do it.
It's probably the way you did it.
Maybe. I had cash, I have debit card. Or
You would
whatever
hand
way.
them your debit card
Yeah,
to go spend?
yeah.
Okay, and how much do you think they used on your debit card?
I don't know. I didn't keep that.
Was it your personal debit card or JMMI's?
Most likely it was my personal card.
Most likely, but maybe
Yes.
not?
No, I think it was my personal card.
Not JMMI's? You have to answer
The only
yes or no.
time they use JMI card is on ministry business, and they were handling a lot of ministry business, so that's separate.
So were they being given money from the ministry's debit card if they were doing ministry business?
Yeah, of course. Any time any volunteer does anything on the ministry business, you know, they are able to, like if they're going out of town or whatever, they're able to buy food because the ministry takes care of all those expenses. It's normal.
So the ministry does, but not you personally?
Like I say, on ministry business, that's when the
Okay.
card is used. When it's something personal, I've helped them with my own money.
So are you saying that you provided more than 50% of the support for these four people?
Yeah, of course. I mean, they didn't have nowhere to stay, nothing.
But you didn't pay their rent? Do you know where they were living?
Pay the rent? What are you
I
saying?
asked you if you paid their rent, and you said no.
No, I mean, they live with me, right? Are you talking about the times that they live with me?
I'm only talking about 12 and 13. So
Oh, okay. No, of course not.
of course not what?
I didn't pay their rent
Okay.
from my
but
acknowledgement.
to claim them, you have to provide a certain level of support. So are you saying that you spent, or I'm sorry, that you supported them in more than 50% of their expenses?
It has to be if it's on that thing.
But you can't tell me how or
Yeah,
anything
because I
about
don't
it?
handle all those things anymore. I'm totally out of that. So I would rather you ask someone who knows. I'd rather just say to you, I don't know. So there's no proprietorship of me.
There's a
Line.
tax preparer name on the return.
Okay, but what I'm trying to figure out, and I don't want to depose them, I want to just get a handle on this. You're saying that this is not JMMI expenditures, these are personal expenditures that you personally, let me
No.
finish, that you personally paid more than 50% of their support, so you claimed them as exemptions, but you can't tell me how.
Actually, I would like to say I don't know. Ask Michelle.
She
That's
would
all I
know
wanna
what you
say.
spend daily on these folks?
They would know because they handle all my personal and ministry stuff.
Who's they when you say they?
Well, I mean, Michelle handles all personal and ministry. So,
How much have you personally donated to JMMI in the last 5 years?
If you know.
Approximate, that's okay.
I don't really know. Yeah, I can't say. From all the sacrifices, I can't say.
What does that mean from all the sacrifices?
I mean, the sacrifices of, giving up things.
No, I'm talking about financially, not.
Oh,
Money.
so no, I can't tell you. I
But
don't
you
know.
do tell people how much you've given, yeah, don't you?
I have told them the sacrifices I've made.
You've put a dollar amount on that, haven't you?
Oh, sometimes I've given up. Yes, I've told them that over the years I have given a large sum of money to this ministry.
Okay, so what sum of money do you say when you do that?
Well, you said not in dollar amount. I'm talking about in sacrifices.
No, you put a dollar amount on it.
I
when
know
you
because
talk.
it is a dollar amount.
Okay, then tell me what
Of course,
dollar
sir.
amount you use when you tell people.
Oh, millions. I've given up millions for this.
Given
In
up
sacrifice.
or only in sacrifice?
In sacrifice, yes.
Millions.
Yes.
How do you arrive at that figure?
Well, I mean, from the opportunities I've had to do other things and that kind of thing.
That would have paid you over $1 million, that would have paid you millions?
Way more than
Really?
that, yes, of course.
What kinds of things would those be?
Well, for number one, I'm a chef. I completed my, in college, a degree. And so I could, number one, have my own business, like my brother who's a chef does. And that alone could
Is he a
bring in...
millionaire?
No. But
Chefs usually aren't.
that's if they don't write books and do multiple chains. There's a way you can do it where I know a lot of my friends who have did very
But
well.
you've said you've used the word donate. You haven't used the word sacrifice. When you're talking
Well,
on
that's
your...
what I
hold on,
mean,
let me finish.
okay.
When you're talking on your radio or your conference call or up on stage, you say, I have donated millions to JMMI.
That's right.
But you're not talking dollar amount.
No, and the people know what I'm talking about.
Oh,
'cause
you
I've-
think they understand?
Oh, because I've explained, of course. You can't just listen to one show that I do and expect to understand what I'm saying if you don't follow the
I've listened to
ministry.
more than one show.
Oh, you got to listen to more than 3, 4, 20, or 100 to hear everything. Yeah.
The JMMI contribution report for 2013 shows that you donated $42,000 to JMMI in 2013. Is that true?
If that's what the report says.
How can you donate more than you actually have made in the last several years after a bankruptcy?
Because in this kind of ministry, people will walk up to me and want to give me personal gifts of this amount of money, and I give it over to the ministry instead of receiving it. And I have them write it out to the ministry instead of me.
So you're saying that isn't that a double dip? If you're saying that people go up and give you money and you say, write it to the ministry, and then you get credit for that donation, as does the person who made it?
Well, that's my personal way of showing also contribution of people who want to give me money personally for my life, and I just tell them to give it to the ministry.
Do you report that as gift income to you?
No, because I tell them to write it out to the ministry.
So how do you come up with $42,000 that you donated when it didn't come from you, it came from a third party?
Well, we use those records to show what I am, beside my tithes and offerings that I give out of my paycheck. We just show kind of what is being given to me on a yearly basis or presented to me, actually. So, sometimes it's higher or lower, but
People come up and give you cash?
no,
Never cash.
no.
Do they write a check out to you, David Taylor?
They have, but I don't receive it. I tell them to scratch it out and write it in the ministry's name.
But then you get credit for the $42,000.
Just shows that I channel that money there instead of to myself.
So you're saying you don't accept cash?
No.
If somebody were to give cash, who would it go to?
GMMI.
No, personally, I mean.
GMMI.
But whom?
Offering bucket, offering plate. I don't.
Well, if somebody's going to give you $5,000 in cash, who would that be handed to?
The people who take up the money and count the money. And that could be anybody.
What
on
if
the
it
staff.
wasn't, you think, I'm not talking about somebody putting it in a donation bucket. I'm talking about somebody's got $5,000 cash and they want to give it to JMMI. Who would be the person that would be designated to receive that kind of donation?
Well, our financial committee, Michelle is over that, so you could just say her.
So
Put her.
Michelle would be who was designated to receive cash donations of a large amount.
Yeah, to put it in the ministry. That's really I don't know how to answer that question.
Why?
I really don't, because people don't give like that. They give into the offering plate. They never give it to us personally. They give into our envelopes, and or if they're going to put cash, they gives it in the bucket. So honestly, I think we should scratch that. We've never received money like that. The money we receive comes through donation plates, and then it's taken in the back and counted and deposited in the ministry.
So it would have to be at a service?
Yes.
So when Debbie gave you a couple, 1.2 million or wherever we are on that, she did it at a service?
I don't recall. I'm not quite sure when. I know she gave a wire.
Yeah.
From what I know, it's a wire. So
A wire transfer?
yeah, and
So
people do that all the time in our ministry.
So how would that be that would be set up? Who would be doing that in your ministry?
I know Michelle is over that.
So did you talk to Debbie about this wire transfer?
No, Michelle.
You had no conversation with Debbie about that?
No.
1.2 million is crazy, man. Anybody who could just donate that without really a care in the world, that's crazy. That is insane. I remember when I used to go to church and we had this thing called Super Sunday. And they would have people, come in and make donations of like $1,000 to the church. I mean, it was like a mega church. And this one dude came in, he gave like $40,000, and everybody was like, "Oh, snap. Like, what in the world?" And like that was a huge deal. Like $40,000 is a lot of money. So imagine 1.2 million in one transaction. That's crazy.
Did you ever request or in any way talk to Debbie about contributions to the ministry?
No, I mean, I talk to everybody who comes to the meeting about that, so that would be yes.
Other than at a general meeting, did you have any smaller group conversations with her about money?
Really, no.
None.
No, not that I know of. Other than when she had already given money and said she wanted to give, so I had Michelle finish up talking to her about that.
So you did talk to her after she had given money?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wanted to know what was going on, and so Michelle filled me in, and I talked with her briefly,
So what did Michelle tell you?
Just that she wanted to donate, and that she had given through wire and that kind of thing.
And so then you talked to Debbie.
Yeah.
And what did you say to Debbie?
I just told her thank you, and that was about it. And the ministry appreciated that.
Did you inquire of her the source of those funds?
No, because I never usually do that when people give money like that.
Would it be a concern to you if it meant that she was ultimately going to be homeless in the next year? Would it be a concern to
Of
you?
course, I would have never allowed that. I didn't find out till afterwards about this.
What did you find out?
I mean, just what you were telling me, you know.
What Mr. Potts shared with you?
Right.
Anybody else?
Rick, of course, came up to me in the first court proceedings and started saying stuff like that, but I didn't believe him because of the kind of spirit and character he has, so I didn't really take nothing he said true. But when Mr. Potts shared with me certain things, because I saw what had really happened.
And what was your understanding of what had happened?
That she had donated a large sum, and she gave a lot of money that she didn't really, a lot of it she didn't have to give. I mean, beside the stuff she has to pay for. So
I'm sorry, say that again?
I said that I found out that she gave a lot of her money that she didn't have to give. She couldn't afford a lot of that.
Did Debbie ever talk to you about her finances?
No, that's the thing.
Did she ever talk to Michelle, if you know?
No.
Did you have any understanding of what her financial wherewithal was?
No, we sure didn't.
Do you understand there's a court order that says she can't give any money to JMMI or any other?
If you know.
I said, did you know?
No.
You aren't aware of the court order?
No.
The court order says she can't give you any money?
No. This just was...
No, it's been in effect for a long time.
Okay, no, I didn't know that.
Okay, she didn't tell you that?
No.
Did Debbie tell you that she was not seeing her children or had severely cut back seeing her children based on her finances?
No.
So is this the situation that ended up sparking this whole thing? I'm curious. Like, now I'm starting to think, okay, did this situation with this woman, I guess, losing everything, I guess this is where the divorce thing is coming from. I guess I'm curious, like, why are all these questions being asked to him if it's just about a divorce proceed? I wonder if, like, because of what happened, it ended up leading to an investigation of how he was handling stuff. They ended up finding some stuff, and now they're investigating him more directly. I wonder if that's what happened.
She didn't share anything about that with you?
The only thing I found out through Michelle that she had told Michelle is just that what her ex-husband was doing to her.
And what was that?
Well, basically just keeping her from the children and taking her to the rigmarole.
Do you understand that he can't do that personally, that the court has to issue orders?
Irrelevant.
Irrelevant.
Well,
Who cares?
That's
No, I want his understanding
No.
For what purpose?
so that Debbie doesn't repeat.
Debbie's not on trial here.
No, it's
He's
not.
on trial here.
It's not about trial.
What's it for?
Do you understand there are court orders issued from the judge about Debbie's parenting time?
If you know.
no, I don't. I'm not involved in that. But
So you were led to believe that somehow her ex-husband Rick is doing this.
well, yeah.
Okay. Did Debbie ever tell you that she had violated court orders?
No, I don't know any of that.
She didn't tell you anything about that?
No.
Do you know if she told Michelle?
I don't know. You can ask Michelle.
Are given, and you understand that Mrs. Frazier cashed out about $600,000 in retirement assets that generated a very significant IRS bill. You aware of that?
Now, after he told me,
You weren't aware of it before then,
no, of course not.
but you're now aware that she's got a big IRS bill.
Yeah, I would have never let her give that if I knew that.
Were you aware at one time she owned her house free and clear?
No.
Are you aware that because she's given everything else away that she now has a significant mortgage that means she doesn't have any equity in her house anymore?
I think I heard from Mr. Potts or Michelle one that she's, I guess, got a line of credit off her home to pay lawyers through what the situation that her ex-husband has taken her through. So that's all I know about that.
Do you realize she also had to pay taxes, though, on the...
Yeah, I would have never let her give that to the ministry if I knew. She paid taxes. I teach people to pay taxes, pay their taxes to the government, so.
That's one of your tenants? It's one of your tenants to pay your taxes?
Yes.
Would you accept any more money from Debbie Frazier?
No,
You would not,
no,
going forward.
no.
Have you told her that?
Of course. I mean, since I found this out, I had a phone conversation and just told her, you know, I just asked her why she didn't tell us, you know, all of these things.
And what'd she say?
She just felt like she didn't feel like she needed to tell me anything. She just felt led to give the money, so.
So you called her on her cell phone or house phone?
Well, no, I had my exec, Michelle, called her for me and patched me in to talk with her.
So you and Michelle were sort of on a conference call with
Yeah,
her?
just
Okay.
recently, yeah.
When would that have been?
Maybe in the last week or two, something like that.
So you had a conversation where you told Debbie you're not going to take any more money
Yeah.
from her.
Well, I don't think I worded it like that, but I told her that she should have communicated better with her financial situation, and if she had bills to pay, like the IRS and things like that, I wouldn't have never taken the money in the first place if I had known that information, especially that amount. Even if she wanted to donate, I would have told her, don't give this amount. You need to keep some for your life and that kind of thing. But I don't get involved in all of our contributors' life like that. You know?
If somebody gives you a really big number, like over $1 million, you don't say to them, can you afford this?
I really haven't done that because I think it probably would be wise now through this to start doing that. But usually people who have given are very responsible and they can do it, you know, so this caught me totally off guard.
Do you realize there are court orders telling Debbie Frazier that she cannot bring her children to St. Louis and participate in JMMI?
I heard about that. Michelle told me about that part.
When was that?
That was some time ago. I can't tell you when exactly.
Ballpark it. This year, last year? I mean,
Yes.
I don't
just
know.
ballpark.
I just don't know.
So you're aware that she can't bring the children to JMMI?
Yeah.
And since you became aware of that, has she brought them?
No. I haven't seen them around at all.
Did you meet with the children?
Meet with them? What do you mean?
Did you have conversations with them?
I wouldn't. Oh yeah, they came to the church, so yeah, that at the church, say hello, and
What else? What
that's
other kind
about
of-
it. Just hello and just greeting them like I've greeted others.
Did you talk to him about face-to-face visits with Jesus?
In a meeting?
No, with them.
No.
No? You have to answer yes or no.
No.
Did you give them any of the books or DVDs?
No.
Did somebody else, if you know, from your ministry, maybe?
I don't know. Couldn't say.
Given that Debbie is basically destitute, you understand that? You have to answer yes or no.
Yes.
Okay.
That's an assumption for the question. He doesn't know that. Is that what you tell him what I told him?
Right. Given that you
Given it's
understand
assumption.
from
Okay.
us, would those be circumstances under which you'd be willing to give Mrs. Frazier back some of her money?
Object to the form of the question.
Go ahead.
Say it again now.
Excuse me.
That's the golden question. Now that you took this donation from her, $1.2 million. Okay, you didn't know that she was in this financial situation. I can believe that. I can believe that he doesn't really ask every single person, hey, can you afford this? Like, nobody has time for that. You're supposed to be a responsible adult and give what you can actually give if you're going to give anything to anything. But now that as a ministry whose job it really is to uplift their community and take care of their community, would you consider giving this woman back some, if not all, of the money that she donated to you? This answer will tell us a lot about his character.
Hold on a second.
And I don't know what the answer is. His lawyer is trying to not have him answer it, but hopefully he does.
We're up again.
Given that you understand Mrs. Frazier to be destitute and it's impacted her ability to have housing, her ability to see her children, under those circumstances, are you willing to give Mrs. Frazier back some of her money?
Should I answer this?
Yes, you go ahead and answer.
Yes. I've shared that with the board. I took what he told me back to the board concerning her present circumstance, and I would love to do that if we had the money. Presently, we don't, but I told them that
How do you not have the money? Where did the $1.2 million go to? How do you not have the money? Okay, so you got people giving to you all the time. This woman gives you $1.2 million and you don't have the money. What did you spend it on? I hope that the questioning that follows this is questioning about where that money has gone, what it's been spent on. And the last thing I want to hear is, oh, you got to ask Michelle. No, you should know at least a little bit of some of this.
I'm willing to, if the money comes in through what we raise, to support and help her, of course.
So would that mean you would give her a check back for some of the funds that she had given?
I don't know how we would do it, but we would find out the legal right way to do that and issue her that.
Those funds, issue those
Yeah.
funds to her?
But, objection to the form of the question. First of all, he's going to require guidance professionally.
I understand that.
On how we can, should, otherwise, what source. So the concept is fine to talk about specifics. He certainly isn't
I'm not
qualified
asking him to-
answer those kinds of questions.
Right.
Yeah. Has Debbie talked about relocating to St. Louis with you or with anyone that you know?
Not that I know of.
Has anyone talked to you about her oldest daughter going to college there?
No.
Katie? Do you know if she's talked to Michelle about that?
I'm not sure.
Are you aware that Debbie refers to JMMI in the presence of the children as their second family?
No.
Are you aware that Debbie had people from JMMI staying at her residence for overnight, at least some period of time?
Yes, I did know. I had heard about that.
What had you heard?
Just that whenever some come from St. Louis in town, that she let them stay there for a day or two.
Do you know how many people would be at any given time?
Just one, from what I knew.
And that would at times, you understand it, that at times that would be when her children were having parenting time with her back when that was allowed?
No.
You didn't
I
know
didn't.
that?
Hmm.
Now, when you came into town, there were times, were there not, that you used Deborah Frazier's vehicle? Or someone who was driving you used Deborah Frazier's vehicle?
Maybe, I don't know. I wasn't aware.
You weren't aware in whose car you were driving?
No. We rent cars when I come here. So if they switch up the cars, I wouldn't know, or I'm just going for the ride wherever they're taking me.
You have no input about any of that?
I don't handle that.
So you wouldn't recognize that you were repeatedly driven in a car that was owned by, the same car that was owned by Debbie Frazier?
Well, I know what a car looks like now, but what I'm saying is during those times, I didn't know. We rent cars. When I come in town, they rent the cars for me.
Did you think it was
So
always the same car that got rented?
It's usually different, you know,
Right.
but they usually rent the same kind of car too. So,
So you didn't realize it was rather regularly just Debbie's car?
because I was never in her car regularly.
Did she ever drive you around?
No.
When you say it's up to the board, now the board includes Michelle,
Yes.
you,
Yes.
and who else?
I'm not sure. You can ask Michelle.
You don't know who's on the board?
Totally. I would rather you get the accurate information because I don't want to be accused of answering falsely like I have been other times when I've tried to guess. So I just rather you, I'm telling you I don't know, just ask her.
How
She'll
many
let you know.
people are on the board?
Don't know. Just
You don't
be-
know?
No.
Don't you have to have board?
See, we went through this last time. Remember, he said there was like 4 members of the board. It was himself, Michelle, and then the 2 other people who were also on the financial committee, who he tried to say was not a financial board, but it really is a financial board because it's the same people that are on the actual board. And now he's saying he doesn't know.
Board meetings?
Yes, we do have board meetings.
So can you count around the table how many people there are?
Well, our board also grows at the same time. So I just rather you just get that information somewhere else.
The last time you had a board meeting was when?
So on the phone, I think the beginning, it's been the beginning of the year in January. Can't exactly tell the date, but
It was on the phone.
yeah.
How did you meet Deborah Frazier?
She came to the meetings that we hold in Taylor,
Taylor?
Michigan.
When Deborah Frazier volunteers, do you pay her travel costs when she comes to St. Louis?
No,
No?
no,
She's on her own?
yeah.
So if she said that she was being reimbursed for that, would you say that's not accurate?
If she says she's being reimbursed, then I don't know what's going on there. I don't handle that part of the ministry.
But your understanding is she's not.
From what I know, I really wouldn't like to answer that. I'd just rather say I don't know.
But other people, you do reimburse and assist them with their costs, right?
Of course, but I don't always know who that is. I don't handle that part of the ministry.
All right, so would that be something that Debbie Frazier would be eligible for?
Of course.
And if you knew she didn't have any personal money or it was taking away from her ability to support herself, would that be something you would provide for her?
Of course.
Would you provide her with lodging in St. Louis?
Of course.
How would you do that?
Well, just like we provide that for others, you know. who, if they're on a ministry trip, that's if they're under the ministry banner, we take care of their expenses.
So if Debbie Frazier moved to St. Louis, would you pay for her residence there?
No, we don't do that. We don't pay for anybody's residence to move. They have to get a job, or, if they're going to relocate, that's not a responsibility the ministry incurs.
But it was for, you said, for the Ware family.
No, it wasn't. They didn't have nowhere to stay for a few days or however long we were helping them. And then it found out they didn't have a place to stay. So I opened up my home to their family.
And you had never met those folks before?
Well, it wasn't that. They had been in the ministry for a little time. We got a chance to know them. So,
how would they have been in the ministry? They lived somewhere else?
Yeah, they came down and was active for maybe a few months, and I got a chance to know them a little bit.
And then they came and you supported them?
Yes.
You stated in your last deposition that you would like to hire Mrs. Frazier. You have to answer yes or no.
Yes.
Have you explored that?
Explore, what do you mean by explore?
Explored whether you're going to hire her?
What do you mean by explore? What is, can you rephrase
Well,
that?
you said that you would like to hire her, so have you
Yes.
done anything about that?
Not at this time. We haven't added anybody on yet. We have to wait till the finances is there for that kind of thing.
So when somebody gives you $1.2 million, where does that money go? To what?
It goes into ministry operations.
So it goes into running JMMI.
Here's the question I wanted the answer to. I want detailed explanations of where $1.2 million went. If you can't take, let's say, okay, St. Louis in 2015, right? I feel like you could probably live there comfortably with around $60,000 to $70,000 a year. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think I'm right. You're telling me you can't, those funds have disappeared, so you can't find $50,000 or $60,000, $70,000 to set aside to pay her annually. You can't do that. Doesn't make sense.
You have to answer yes or
Yes.
no. I didn't finish over here. So who has been on the JMMI payroll in the last 90 days?
Michelle Brannon is really the only one on the salary payroll, and myself at this time.
Just the two of you? You have to answer yes or no.
Yes.
So that's his only employee. Everybody else who makes this ministry run is a volunteer. So they're the only two that are actually profiting financially from this ministry running. That's, ooh, man. Where is Michelle? I need a Michelle deposition today.
Do you have a former or current FBI agent associated with JMMI now?
No.
Has there been?
No.
Never had anybody with the FBI involved?
No.
At one point, your mother and father were on the JMMI board of directors. You have to answer yes.
Yes.
Okay, and do you recall that time period?
I think it was, I don't remember. I know it was a few years ago. So.
This man can't seem to remember anything. This is pretty convenient.
I think, I'm not quite sure.
Then they resigned, did they not?
No, they didn't resign.
They didn't resign?
No.
You filed paperwork showing they resigned.
No, it shouldn't say resignation.
And then in 30 days, they were back on the board.
No,
You don't recall that?
no,
They were on, they were off, they're on, and aren't they off now?
no. Yeah, they're off, but the way you were saying this isn't the way things happen. No.
What did they receive compensation?
No,
They weren't paid at all.
no.
Are they both living?
Yes.
What are their names?
Katie and James Taylor.
K-A...
Kate.
K-A-T-E, not Kate?
Katie.
K-A-T-E, and you call it...
T-I-E, I'm sorry.
Okay. And James?
Taylor.
And where do they reside?
In Memphis, Tennessee.
Is James Taylor the same one that prepares your tax returns, same one as your father?
He has an income tax business.
Oh, so your father prepares your taxes.
Well, not now. He did at one time. We had him doing that because he has a very integral business, been around for over 30 years.
So when your dad did your taxes 2012, just a couple of years ago, he's listed as the tax preparer.
Yes.
And he's the one that made the judgment then apparently to include these 4 people as exemptions?
Yes.
So you're saying that your parents were never off the board for any period of time other than when they finally came off now?
Yes.
I've looked at that document. Do you have it with you? Okay. This. Okay, on June 18th, 2013, well, let me ask you first, who is Bill Hody? Do you know that name?
Yes, Bill
Who is
Hody. He is a minister in JMMI.
He is. What do you have to do to be a minister?
Well, you have to qualify
How?
basically through being trained.
By
training.
whom?
Well, in this case, I trained ministers, but he was a minister before I knew him. So, in the other church they had, so he was already a minister before he met me or our organization.
Does that mean he's licensed?
I don't know. You probably have to ask him.
Well, how do you just accept that he's a minister? How do you know he's a minister?
Well, I mean, I can see from the qualification of how he handles himself, and I've been in ministry for 25 years, so I know.
So you can just tell by looking at somebody if they're a minister?
Well, if I know they have ties to a reputable church before, and if they come and start working in our ministry and I see their expertise, then yes, I can tell.
You don't have to be ordained.
Well, yeah, you can be ordained, but the ordinations is not what makes you a minister.
So do you, when you accept someone as a minister, do you then do a background check to see whether they were legitimately associated with any of these places?
Yes.
What do you do?
Well, I just have people on the staff or board check backgrounds, do investigation.
Like
or
what?
if I don't need that, if I already know the leaders who I already know are reputable, then I don't have to do that.
All right, so you're saying, how old is Mr., is it Hody?
Yes.
How old do you think he is?
I think, not sure, I think he's 40. I don't know. Let me just say I don't
40,
know.
somewhere around there?
No, he's not 40. I'm just saying I don't know.
Okay. Do you know if he's related to Debbie Frazier?
Yes, I found out they're cousins.
And in June 18th, 2013, you paid Debbie Frazier's cousin, Bill Hody, $2,000. What was that for?
That was a ministry gift
What does
to
that
bless
mean?
him.
Ministry gift
or
to bless him.
honorarium, that's what we call it. It's the name of it. When you minister or when you do any service for the ministry, we give honorariums.
And what do you have to do to get an honorarium?
Well, speak or minister, do some form of ministry in the church or ministry.
Do you give these out routinely?
If I have a guest speaker or if I have somebody come and do a service for the ministry, yeah.
It's $2,000?
It's not normally just 2,000.
More
It
than that
depends.
usually?
It depends.
It could be more than that?
Yeah.
And how long do they stay and talk?
Depends. Maybe a whole service could go for like 2 or 3 hours.
And you make $2,000?
Oh, yeah, that's not standard.
How is it not standard?
It's not. It could be more or less, depending on the qualification or the donation, the work that they do that night for the Lord.
So how much you pay them depends on how much you receive in donations in some way?
Sometimes.
So you have,
But this, for him, was not just any one service. It was just his involvement in helping the ministry.
in general, he didn't give a service.
Right.
And who makes that decision of who to give that kind of money to?
The board and myself.
So this was just a general gift.
It was an honorarium, as I said.
Now, do you give Mr. Hody a 1099?
I think I did. I'm not sure. I didn't do it, but
Sure,
that's
on your
normal.
behalf, somebody
Yeah.
somebody gave a 1099. Because there are lots of payments to Mr. Hody in several thousands of dollars over the course of time.
Okay.
Right?
No, I don't know if there's lots. I don't.
Well, they total
recall.
thousands of dollars, more than the two. Wasn't a one-shot deal. You acknowledge that?
I only remember giving or allowing that to happen maybe twice. That's it.
Okay, and it's your understanding that you do a 1099 to him and he's to report that as his income.
Exactly.
I want to do that. So each time that somebody comes and you pay them an honorarium or for just whatever you think is their good guy or whatever, you give them a 1099.
Yes, that's what the law requires.
Yeah, we did request the 1099s, but we haven't gotten them. Maybe they're in the package tomorrow. In June of 2013, there's over $6,000 worth of charges for the Disney Resort Hotel in Anaheim, California. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And did you go?
Yes, I was there.
And who were you with?
I know it was 4 staff. I can't remember exactly who all went, but we were
How can you
down
not
there.
remember 4 people? How can you not remember 4 people? If I go on vacation with somebody, I can remember people I went on vacation with like 20 years ago. Like by name, face. I remember everybody that was there. Like maybe I can't remember the month or the days that we were there. That's fair. That's fine. But you're telling me you can't remember who was there? You're saying it was, yeah, I think it was 4 people. I can't remember who was there. How? How can you not remember who was there?
in Orlando for a meeting, and then we also went for vacation. Yes.
To Disneyland?
Yes.
And the JMMI paid for that?
Yes.
And so do you report that on your income when you get paid for vacation?
I don't know. I'm not into the legal part. I have people take care of that for me.
Do you give the staff 1099s for paid vacations?
I don't know the financial situation behind all that. So,
What 4 staff members were there?
like I said, I can't remember who they were.
Oh, yeah.
Lion.
These were in Anaheim, California, so apparently you did Anaheim and Orlando?
Mm-hmm.
You have to answer yes.
Yes.
So you took staff to Orlando and Anaheim for a vacation at Disney resorts?
It ain't quite like that.
Okay.
You know, so I have different staff that accompany me to different cities I go into. So when I was in California that year and we went to Disney World at the same time, yeah, the staff go. I treated them to that. And so the same thing in Orlando when that happened. But I don't just take them there. We are having a meeting engagement, and then on the time off, I allowed that to happen.
And JMMI paid the $6,000 for the resort
Yes,
charges?
of course.
Of course, even for the vacation?
Yes, of course.
All right, so who was there in Anaheim, California?
I don't remember.
You don't remember who you went with?
No, it's been so long, you know, and I travel all the time with different groups, so.
And all on JMMI's dime?
Well, what do you do when you have a staff who you need to go help and they're not getting salary, but they're volunteering their time, what they're supposed to pay their own plane tickets? No. The ministry take care of that because the ministry is using them on the road to do things. So we take care of basic expenses. And if there's a vacation thrown in there, which is not always, we allow that to happen as a benefit.
And you pay for that?
Yes.
Okay. But you can't say if you issue them any kind of gift or receipt or 1099s for that benefit?
Gift. No, I don't
Okay.
know the legal.
And so you went to both Orlando and Anaheim and paid for vacations for staff members, but you don't know who they are?
No, I can't remember exactly who it is. I'd rather not say until we figure it out.
Were your children included?
My children were there with me in Orlando, not in Anaheim.
And did JMMI pay for them?
I think so. I'm not sure. I don't think. I usually, when I go on a vacation, the ministry give me a vacation bonus, and it comes out of that. So.
A vacation bonus, and I don't see that reported as income anywhere in your tax return.
Well, I mean, you got to go to the people who handle that. They can explain.
You don't know anything about your own finances?
Not a lot. I have professionals take care of that, and people who know about nonprofit business. So, but I can assure you, I'm not doing anything illegal.
Well,
everything we have is open, so it's nothing to hide. You can see everything we have on our papers.
I'm not sure that your conclusion is accurate.
Well, that's your opinion.
Right.
That's your opinion.
Did Debbie Frazier go on either of the Disney resort trips?
Not that I remember. I don't.
You don't remember? You said there's 4 people and you can't remember who they are.
I mean, it's been a while, and I have different people who will go, so I don't remember actually, but I know I had a group with me.
Do you go to Disney resorts every year?
Not every year, no.
But mostly?
No. Honestly, I hadn't been to Disney World in before this time, and probably, I don't know, maybe 3 years, 4 or 5, something like that.
So where was the meeting that you had in Anaheim?
It was in Anaheim.
Where? And what organization or whatever?
I can't remember exactly where that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, on September 6th, 2013, JMMI wrote a check to Charter Place for $1,350 with the memo line recording it as T. Taylor's rent. Is JMMI paying rent for your ex-wife, Tabitha?
No, I don't know what that is. I can't answer that.
You have no idea why $1,350
No.
would be paid and it would be marked rent?
No.
There are actually several monthly payments, October, November, et cetera, that same year made to Charter Place with the same notation?
I'm not quite sure. You probably have to ask Michelle about that.
Does Tabitha work in your ministry?
No,
But somehow her rent's being paid.
I don't know about that. No, we don't do that, I'm sure.
Who would
That
who would
way.
T. Taylor be made for?
I'm not sure. You probably need to ask the financial advisors about that.
Well, let me show you
Okay.
canceled checks we've received.
Okay.
It's from JMMI Ministries, Charter Place, $1,350, September 6, 2008. It's marked, I'm sorry, 2013. And it's marked in the memo line, T. period Taylor's rent.
Okay.
And who is this person's signature on that account?
That's a lady who's died recently, but she was with us for many years.
What is-
Marion France.
Marion France.
Yes.
When did she die?
About, it was last year, I think. I'm not sure the exact date, but
Did she obviously had signatory authority on this
Yeah.
check? A checking account?
yes.
And then, that's different, okay. Then there's a September 10th, 2013 check. $1,600 rent for Michelle Brannon. And I'll show you this one. You can tell in the memo line is for Michelle and it's $1,600. Is JMMI paying Michelle's rent?
I really can't answer to what this line of financing was for. So, you know, you may see one thing but not know what's really happening. So it'd be better to ask Michelle and the financial, those who deal with the
Long story short, these people are living off of the money and the labor of their congregation. Michelle's rent's getting paid. Obviously, the pastor's rent is getting paid, apparently. Which is actually... No, that's not normal. You're not supposed to do that. But, and then apparently his ex-wife, her rent is getting paid as well by the ministry. Again, things that are not supposed to happen. You're not supposed to take the congregation's money and put extra of it in your own pocket. Now, if you take the congregation's money and you take a salary, like pastors are supposed to do, they are supposed to take a salary. Once you get to a certain amount of income for the church, you're like in the law, you're supposed to take a salary. But to add on these extra allowances and bonuses and stuff, it's clear malpractice. Clear.
finances.
So you're saying that you don't watch over the finances at all, that you do not look at to see who's receiving money properly or improperly?
That's not true. I have a firm. My way of looking is having a professional firm
Who's
and
that?
an accountant to do that. Ex Michelle, she knows.
You don't know who the firm is?
I think I know their name, but I don't think I have it right. So just
Well,
ask
wasn't
her
that when your
about
dad
that.
was doing the accounting?
What you say now?
Wasn't that when your dad was doing the accounting?
What are you talking about? What are you?
During
You're
that time
confusing
period.
two things. He was doing my personal income taxes.
He didn't do JMMI's?
He may have. I'm not sure around that time, but I also had firms or accountants.
Man, we are an hour through, and that's where we're going to stop for today, okay? Obviously, things are getting a little saucy. We're starting to get into the actual personal finances of Mr. David Taylor and how he's been using his money that he gets from JMMI on top of extra money that he's getting from JMMI, which, again, remember, is coming from the congregation. This is coming from hardworking people who are paying their tithes and paying their offering and also giving extra donations on top of that. And he's taking the money. Apparently, just him and Michelle are taking the money, pocketing these paychecks, getting extra bonuses, etc., etc. And then adding vacations on top of that. And that's not even the end of it. Wait until you get. Wait until we come back. There's much more of there's these wild explanations he tries to give for how he's spending the money that they're giving. It's something else. But until that episode, stay safe, stay blessed, like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.